do today, if it works for everybody, is first I tell you a little bit about myself. Then I would tell you a little bit about kind of how I see the problems right now and how we fix them. And then we'll take some questions, and then if anybody wants to, I'm glad to stay as long as you want, and we'll do pictures. And like I said, Bailey will be outside doing pictures. It is not a competition. If more people want Bailey, it's just that's how it is. It's okay. I know you wanted the fresh air outside. So I grew up, born and raised in Oklahoma. I have 3 older brothers. I'm what used to be referred to as the late in life baby. My mother always just called me the surprise. And all 3 of my older brothers went off and joined the military. My oldest brother, Don Reed, spent about 5.5 years off and on in Vietnam in combat. We were very lucky to get him back home. My second brother, John, was stationed overseas for a little over a year. My third brother, David, trained as a combat medic. And all 3 of my brothers now are retired. They're all back in Oklahoma, live fairly close to each other. We do have a rule, though, in our family, and that is no one chokes around my brother David. The reason for that is all these many years later, he still carries a very sharp pocket knife and is convinced that he can perform an emergency tracheotomy if called on. Always ready. It makes for some excitement at Thanksgiving. Somebody goes, and we all just back out of the room. I love my brothers. I'm close to my brothers. When we were growing up, our daddy had a lot of different jobs. He sold carpeting, he sold fencing, he sold paint, he sold housewares. And when I was in middle school, he had a massive heart attack. The boys were already gone, so it was just Mama and Daddy and me. And he was in the hospital for a long time. Our neighbors, folks from church brought covered dishes. It was scary for a kid. He pulled through, but he couldn't go to work. And he was home day after day. And we lost our family station wagon. And at night, my mama would tuck me in, and then I'd hear him talk. And that's where I learned words like mortgage and foreclosure. And one morning I walked into their bedroom, and there on the bed was the dress. Now, some of you in this room will know the dress. It's the one that only comes out for weddings, funerals, and graduations. And I look at the dress, and then over at my mother. She's in her slip and her stocking feet, and she's crying and pacing. And she's saying, "We will not lose this house. We will not lose this house. We will not lose this house." She was 50 years old. She had never worked outside the home, and she was terrified. So finally, she keeps looking at that dress. And finally, she blows her nose, pulls the dress on, puts on her high heels, and she walks to the Sears and gets a minimum wage job. That minimum wage job saved our house, and it saved our family. And for years, I thought this was the lesson from mother to daughter, that no matter how scared you are, no matter how hard it looks, when it comes down to it, you reach down deep, you find what you need to find, you pull it up, and you take care of the people you love. Now, years later, I came to understand it wasn't just the story of my mother. It's the story of millions of people across this country who, even if they're scared, even if it's hard, they reach down, they find what they have to find, they pull it up, and they take care of the people they love. It was only years after that that I came to understand it's also a story about government. Because when I was a girl, a minimum wage job full-time in America would support a family of 3. It would pay a mortgage, it would cover the utilities, and it would put food on the table. Today, a minimum wage job full-time in America will not keep a mama and a baby out of poverty. That is wrong, and that is why I am in this fight.